Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video. Can you give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy Raw this week? If you didn't enjoy Raw this week, do give it a dislike. I want to know, did you enjoy Raw? Did you dislike it? I'd like to see what the majority of people think about Monday Night Raw this week. In my opinion, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. There were some really good segments tonight and some great planning towards SummerSlam in 4 weeks. I cannot wait for that pay-per-view, but today we're going to get down and dirty and review everything that happened on Raw. The good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to give a thumbs up for something I liked and a thumbs down for something I didn't like. So Raw started off this week with Triple H coming out. Yes, you may say you're sick of the Authority starting Raw every week, but actually for the last 2 weeks we haven't had the Authority start Monday Night Raw. So I wasn't too bothered about the fact that Triple H started Raw this week with a promo. Now the promo was actually really good, and it set the tone for the rest of the night. Now it said how Triple H was angry that the championship did not return to the Authority or the Bull Authority. And it actually set the tone for the rest of the superstars, because he said he wanted to be impressed tonight. He wanted to see somebody special who could face John Cena at SummerSlam and bring the championship back to the Authority. He said he can wait up to 4 weeks as long as the championship comes back. Now I really like this because it basically said to the rest of the roster and for the rest of the night that you need to step up. Everybody on the roster should step up, have a good match, and basically impress Triple H. And I thought that was a really good way to set the tone of the night and actually set a kind of storyline for the whole of the rest of the show, which people are going to aim towards. So everybody was going to step up and try and impress Triple H. I liked how they had an ongoing storyline for the rest of Monday Night Raw. I also like how he had a slight dig at the internet wrestling community or the YouTube wrestling community. How he said he was going to go online and tweet or Vine it or Instagram the fact that he was angry that the title didn't come back to the Authority. He said he was going to hop on Twitter until his fingers would bleed and say he was going to stop watching the product. And he was also going to say to his friend Mark that he was going to stop watching the show. I thought that was hilarious. He was implying that we're marks, and it was funny, and it was down with the kids. It was awesome, and it was just a cheap dig, which was just hilarious. Now, the segment kind of went downhill when Kane and Randy Orton came out saying that they were the ones to face John Cena. Imagine seeing a SummerSlam main event with either Randy Orton against Cena again or Kane and John Cena. I mean, come on. Does anybody want to see these guys have another title run ever again? No. So I think this segment really went downhill when these two came out, and it actually came back to life when Roman Reigns hit the ring, planting the seeds of a possible Triple H and Roman Reigns feud. But what I thought was the best thing about this promo was Roman Reigns says, does anybody want to see Kane against John Cena for the championship? I don't think we do. Does anybody want to see Randy Orton against John Cena again? No, and this is exactly what I'm saying. We don't care about Kane or Randy Orton chasing the title anymore. And I like how Roman Reigns just says what everybody's thinking. Like, he doesn't care what he says. He has the balls of steel. He just says what he thinks. It's awesome. Love the character. Love the gimmick. And it's working really well. So I'm actually going to give this promo a thumbs up because I thought it was actually really good. A great opening segment and set the tone for the rest of the night. And that actually sets up an impromptu matchup between Roman Reigns against Randy Orton and Kane. Roman Reigns got the win, of course, if you watched it, when he actually I believe he hit the spear on Kane, but whatever happened, he pinned Kane, and Randy Orton just walked off and didn't help Kane. Now, I really don't care about this breakup between Kane and Randy Orton in the Authority, because it's not really a unique storyline. It's just two big heelish egos that don't like each other and can't get on and can't stand each other. It's a really basic storyline which we've seen many times before. We saw it with Randy Orton last year with Big Show. It's just a basic, generic, egotistical storyline which isn't original. And honestly, I don't care about seeing Orton or Kane being champions anyway. So I just yawn every time they suggest a kind of Randy Orton and Kane feud. I'm like, I didn't care about them being in the Authority in the first place. I don't want them to be champion anyway. The storyline between these two and having big egos isn't original anyway. I just don't care about the breakup between Kane and Randy Orton. So I wish they'd just nip it on the bud, because I was just like, ugh. Are they really going to carry on doing this? And I mean, it was great they gave the win to Roman, giving him some great momentum, technically beating two guys, but I don't care about a breakup between Orton and Kane in the Authority. I never cared about them being in the Authority anyway. Kane is lost with me. I don't care about him anyway. And Orton's just a bit dead at the moment. I think a babyface turn would be great. I just don't care about Orton and Kane, so why should I care about a breakup between them two in the Authority? Gives momentum to Roman Reigns, and was also kind of a way to shadow away Orton and Kane from the title picture. They couldn't beat Roman Reigns on their own, so why would Triple H book them in the SummerSlam match to face John Cena? It was a good way of channeling Kane and Orton out of the title picture. So I'll actually give that match a thumbs up. It was a solid match, nothing too impressive, but still delivered a quite impressive match. The breakup between Kane and Orton, really don't care about. The next match was building towards Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam, and this was one of the best segments in the Divas division we have seen in the last decade. Really, really was. Now, it was Alicia Fox, Eva Marie, Cameron, and Rosa Mendes teaming up in a 4-on-1 match against Nikki Bella. Obviously, Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella is the feud going on here, and this was Stephanie McMahon saying it's all Brie Bella's fault. Now, you know, Brie Bella was in the crowd, so Stephanie McMahon came down and said to Nikki, "Why are you acting surprised? You knew Brie Bella was going to be front row tonight." Then what happens was, pretty much, we get plant seeded for a feud between Nikki and Stephanie, which might happen at SummerSlam, hopefully. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Brie Bella calls Stephanie McMahon a bitch, and I was like, ugh. So you remember at Payback when Brie called her Stephanie a bitch and the crowd popped, everybody went mental on the internet, everything. It was an awesome moment. But don't repeat the same word again for a cheap pop. I mean, it was funny, it was epic when she called Stephanie a bitch a month ago at Payback, or 2 months ago, but don't call her a bitch again and expect the same reaction. I mean, don't say the same word. It wasn't funny the second time. I think it just killed it a little bit. Like, she was like, "You vindictive cow, you vindictive bitch," and I was like, ugh, why did you say bitch? You've already made that joke before. Don't do it again. And she did it. And that ended up with Stephanie McMahon pretty much, like, literally slapping the living hell out of Brie Bella. It was a better slap than the one at Payback. And it was just like a full-on shove. It was awesome. Planting the seeds for Stephanie and Brie Bella. Great segment. And it was so impactful. I remember it word for word. It was great. I loved it. Awesome segment, amazing. That ended up with Nikki Bella getting beat, of course, with Alicia Fox pinning her, and that's pretty much that. Thumbs up, definitely. What does get a thumbs down, sadly for Bo Dallas, who usually puts his thumbs up, I'm going to give Bo Dallas against Damien Sandow a thumbs down. It was a good idea to give heat to Damien Sandow by dressing him up as LeBron James and having a Miami Heat's vest on, but with a crossed out, and it said, I think it said Ohio or something. I'm not into NBA, so I won't know. But it was pretty much talking about how LeBron left Miami to go join Cleveland, was it? Or something like that. I'm not an NBA fan, so you could tell me if you want to. But that was a good way to get heat for Damien Sandow. But what's the point of giving this guy the heat when I really don't want to see him on my TV anyway? I mean, this gimmick isn't going to last forever, so why bother giving him heat anyway? Like, the character's never going to last that long. There's going to be a point where they can't think of anybody else he can dress up as. So they're going to end up finally changing his gimmick entirely anyway. So what's the point of giving him all this heat in the end? Plus, his matches are okay. His match with Bo Dallas here was okay, but they're so predictable. I mean, we all know it's going to end up with the other person winning. So I'm going to give this a thumbs down. Please, just give Damien Sandow the gimmick he had last year. Do you remember that epic match he had against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam? Now what's he doing? And it's all down to John Cena. John Cena winning against him when he cashed in his briefcase. Yeah, we all know. Anyway, Bray Wyatt hijacked the highlight reel. Now, there was a segment which happened on the WWE app. They should have done it on TV because it would have been a lot more memorable. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family attacked Chris Jericho backstage and gave his sister Abigail onto one of the wardrobes in the backstage. I mean, it was fucking awesome. Chris Jericho sold it like a boss. I mean, he just stood there after being hit with the Sister Abigail and then just fell to the floor. It was awesome. It was... What a Sister Abigail. It was great, but it happened on the WWE app. If you want to make something memorable and more epic, do it on the actual show. Why did they do it on the WWE app? They could have done it straight after the commercial break finished, but why on the app? Why on the app? But this gets a I don't know if this gets a thumbs up from me, because it was epic that Bray Wyatt hijacked the highlight reel, but Bray Wyatt's promos are really boring right now. I don't know if it's this because this guy has literally no momentum going for him at the moment, but this promo was just I just don't listen to them anymore. They're just a bit boring. I want to see something new from Bray Wyatt. I don't want to see a traditional boring segment where he just talked about something you don't really understand. I didn't like this. It would have been better if Chris Jericho was out there with Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt just on his own doing a standard promo didn't really get a thumbs up from me. So I'll give it a thumbs down. The Sister Abigail backstage was great, but the overall segment on the highlight reel, Dolph Ziggler defeating Intercontinental Champion The Miz. Now, this might be a short program they're going with Ziggler and Miz, but I don't like the fact that The Miz has only won 2 matches since returning, and he's the IC Champion. I mean, this is the night after winning the championship, and he loses his match. Does this guy feel like a legitimate champion to you? Do you feel like he's championship material? Now, the match was epic. This is one of the best Miz matches I have seen in a long time. Great match against Ziggler. And I like the fact, like, it looks like they're bringing Ziggler out of this slump. They're finally giving Dolph Ziggler these wins. Now, he got in this slump around this time last year, and he just didn't really come out of it. Finally, this month, it really seems to July. It just really seems like in July, they're starting to give wins to Dolph Ziggler. He was the last man standing last night at Battleground, and today he was put on a great match and actually won against The Miz in a clean finish with the zigzag. Looks like they're actually starting to build Ziggler up, which is fantastic. Now, this will have another match down the line for the IC Championship. This obviously makes Ziggler #1 contender, so maybe we'll get that match next week on Raw. I'm not going to complain because the match gets a thumbs up from me. Very entertaining between 2 mid-card superstars who honestly deserve a lot better than what they get. Great match, and I'm excited to see the IC Championship match we might see between Ziggler and Miz next week, because obviously Ziggler won, so that means he gets a match later down the line, which is fantastic. Maybe the best segment of the night goes to the Divas champion AJ Lee and Paige. Now, this frenemy storyline is stupid, really is, so it's a shame that the SummerSlam match is going to come off the backbone of a retarded storyline. Now, AJ Lee and Paige defeated Natalya and Emma. AJ Lee celebrates, turns her back on Paige, and just like that, she snaps, takes down AJ Lee, tosses her around ringside, and walks up the ramp skipping. An amazing heel turn. It wasn't really a slow burner. It was just snap, heel turn, epic. Makes me remember the time when CM Punk turned heel by attacking The Rock. Somewhat pretty much like that. I mean, this is what we all imagined Paige to be doing when she went to the main roster. Her NXT heel gimmick was great. This is exactly what we want to see. This was fucking awesome. A heel turn for Paige. She played this heel role amazing. A 2-minute segment, and you can see how epic a heel turn is going to be for Paige. Maybe even better than AJ Lee as a Paige. I don't know. This segment freaking rocked. She just snapped, heel turn, boom, like that. The crowd loved it. She's an epic heel. I didn't realise how good of a heel she was. Her babyface run sucked. Her Divas title run sucked. They've turned her heel. They're trying her as a heel in an AJ and Paige feud. It's going to be epic. Loved it. Really, really loved it. The frenemy storyline sucked, so it sucks that they're going off the backbone of that. But finally, we're getting the real deal. A proper AJ versus Paige feud. Thumbs up from me. What doesn't get a thumbs up from me is the fact that they're still doing this Fandango soap opera kind of storyline with Layla and Summer Rae. We never cared in the first place, so why are you still doing it? Finally, Zack Ryder actually got a win on Monday Night Raw. Yes, it was an unclean win because Layla lifted the leg off the rope when Fandango had it on the rope when he was getting pinned, but that kind of sucked a little bit because the referee wasn't even looking at the rope, and Layla picked up the leg just before he was going to hit the free, so it didn't really make much of a difference anyway. But yeah, we don't care about Layla and Summer Rae anyway, so this was just... the match was actually okay, it was pretty good, but it'll get a thumbs down because I really don't care. Stephanie McMahon was arrested following a Flow Rider performance. Now, the Flow Rider performance just got the crowd goes mild. Yeah, the crowd really didn't care about this. Thought it was okay. I like the fact that he actually performed 3 songs instead of 1. And if it was you in his shoes, you would have found it awesome. Imagine performing on a Monday Night Raw in any way. It must have been great for him because he's a WWE fan. But I know a lot of people don't like something on Raw that isn't wrestling. I understand. I liked how he did 3 songs, let's be honest. But he didn't really actually sing. It was just them playing his song and him in the background singing when he really wanted to. But it wasn't bad, but the crowd really didn't really care. But what happened after it was fucking awesome. The Brie Bella comes back, and then 2 people, they go back to the announce table and everything's fine and dandy, and then they skip to Stephanie McMahon right next to the announce table, and they arrest Stephanie McMahon. When was the last time we saw an arrest on Monday Night Raw? Awesome. This is great build towards Brie Bella against Stephanie McMahon. It really, really is. She goes backstage, which I thought was quite dumb. How they arrest her and then they just walk her back up the ramp backstage and the car's parked backstage. Just didn't feel like it was legit. I mean, why would the police car be parked backstage where all the superstars are? And why would they walk her backstage? Surely they'd walk her out the arena rather than backstage. Kind of felt like it was part of the show rather than part of a legitimate like a legitimate reality thing. Didn't feel real to me, but it was awesome that Stephanie McMahon was handcuffed and taken to jail. And then Joey Mercury was like, do you want to go with your wife? I mean, I know he was like, oh, you've got to announce who's going to be this opponent at SummerSlam. And then Triple H was like on the phone talking to Joey Mercury at the same time. I've got to go with my wife. Wife comes first. Wife comes first. And he was like, maybe I could announce the SummerSlam opponent. And the crowd just laughed. They were like, yeah, you beast. You're not going to go with Stephanie. You're going to announce the SummerSlam opponent. I thought that was awesome. Another cool thing was after the Ryback and Big E and Kofi Kingston match, then we actually got Xavier Woods, like, popped out of nowhere. I don't even know where he came from. Kind of hinting at a Nation of Domination kind of thing between Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods. And this will be a good opportunity for these 3 guys to run with something. They haven't really done anything ever, so for them to run with something in a cool gimmick, it was a hint it might be quite epic, and I'm going to see how this plans out. The match itself was okay, a bit too short. I'll give it a thumbs up because they're hinting at something here, and then we'll see how it plays out. I don't really know where Xavier Woods came from. Does anybody know? He just popped on my screen. But anyway, Rusev against Great Khali. A big attraction. 2 big guys. A big match. Khali, Rusev. I mean, if Khali had better in-ring performance, this could be like a legit main event match if Great Khali could actually perform in the ring. But it's a big attraction. I mean, you're all going to sit there and see what unfolds between Rusev and Great Khali. The match itself didn't last that long, and once again, Rusev gets the squash match win. I mean, you can just tell by the crowd, we're bored by Rusev. We were bored by the first 2 weeks of this guy coming in and winning every single match in the same way. 4 months down the line, he's still winning these matches in the same way. We're still bored. Ugh. And I was surprised Swagger wasn't on Raw to confront Rusev. Where was Swagger on the whole of Raw? No idea. A bit disappointed by the fact that Swagger wasn't on Raw to build towards Rusev and Swagger 2 at SummerSlam. He wasn't even on the show. I don't know why. Maybe he got injured or something. I'm not quite sure. But he wasn't on Monday Night Raw. Now, I'm just bored of Rusev, so any match I just don't really watch. I did watch this match because it was Khali and Rusev, a big match. But the match sucked in the end. The ending sucks. It's the same old boring Rusev match. Cesaro and Dean Ambrose was great. I mean, Cesaro was backstage and he said to Triple H, "I'm not a Paul Heyman guy anymore." Now, what's with that? He was looking so good after WrestleMania. The crowd popped on the Raw after WrestleMania when he said he was going to be a Paul Heyman guy. And then he's not a Paul Heyman guy anymore. Dropped the ball once again, WWE, with bad booking. They booked Cesaro horribly after him joining with Paul Heyman, and now look where it's gone. Cesaro and Paul Heyman aren't a thing anymore. It sounded like the shit when it first came around. It sounded like the greatest thing since sliced bread, Cesaro and Paul Heyman in an alliance, but now it's just not anymore, and it sucked. But the match between Ambrose and Cesaro was great. Amazing, but the thing I didn't like was how Dean Ambrose got a chair and hit Cesaro around the head with it. Is that really a babyface thing to do? Now, I understand his gimmick is kind of like a lunatic fringe where he does what he wants, but is that really a babyface thing to do? Hit somebody with a chair? That was a bit of an iffy thing I thought of when it happened, but Cesaro against Ambrose was a great match, and I'd love to see it again. Two indie guys going at it in a match in the main event of Monday Night Raw, technically the main event. Great, decent match, and I'd love to see it again. Just wasn't keen on that chair. Was that really a babyface thing to do? Thumbs up, however. Thumbs up. Great match. Triple H goes, "Here's my SummerSlam opponent." Orton comes out, and this just proves how shallow the roster is. That if Brock Lesnar wasn't around, then we might be thinking of Randy Orton against John Cena again. This is how slim the roster is. This how slim the main event roster is. They really don't have anybody to pick between. That if Brock Lesnar wasn't around, they'd have to pick Randy Orton. I mean, this just proved how shallow their roster is, and they should think about building up other people. Randy Orton comes out, and then Reigns starts attacking Randy Orton, planting the seeds for Triple H against Randy Orton. Then Paul Heyman comes out after the crowd chant, "We want Brock." No music hits, but Paul Heyman comes out and he says, Plan C is just gonna... Plan C well, you need Plan C. Plan A didn't work, obviously. Plan B, Ambrose is just going to attack Seth Rollins every time it happens. So you want Plan C. Brock Lesnar music hits. They go in the ring. They shake Triple H's arm, and then Paul Heyman hits one of the best promos of 2014. Currently, the best promo of 2014 is the promo Paul Heyman did the night after WrestleMania, and I think this is probably the second best promo of 2014. Never mind the best Paul Heyman promo of 2014. This is the best promo, second best promo of 2014. What a great promo. Somebody that has the balls to step up, and you legitimately feel like they're going to beat John Cena at SummerSlam. You really do. You are convinced that Brock Lesnar is going to beat John Cena at WrestleMania, aren't you? Don't go in the comments of this video and say you aren't. You fucking are. You believe that Brock Lesnar is winning at SummerSlam. There is no doubt after that promo. It was so good. Now, Paul Heyman says there's some of you that chant, "Let's go Cena," but there's a lot of us who chant, "Cena sucks," and the crowd chanted, "Cena sucks," alongside him. It's going to be awesome. Brock Lesnar's money. He's a main event star. He's one of the biggest attractions. He is the biggest attraction the WWE has on pay-per-view level. John Cena's arguably the biggest babyface in the company they have right now. He's the champion. It's a program, a feud. We're going to have at SummerSlam the big blow-off match. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be the time that Brock Lesnar wins the championship. And it all started tonight on Raw with Brock Lesnar coming out with Paul Heyman, cutting that promo. Triple H shaking the hand, agreeing that Brock Lesnar was the one to do it. It's going to be fucking awesome at SummerSlam. I cannot wait. And it all happened tonight on Raw. My goosebumps were crazy when Brock Lesnar's music hit. I'm one of the biggest Brock Lesnar fans. It was awesome. Cannot wait. Great promo. It's going to be a great feud, a great match. Maybe one of the best matches, best feuds of the year. It's going to be awesome. 4 weeks to go. Cannot wait. Wow, wow, wow. What did you think of Raw? Some amazing segments. That heel turn from Paige. Wow. Brock Lesnar coming back, challenging John Cena. Wow. No John Cena, no Boar Cena. Wow. An amazing slap by Stephanie McMahon and getting arrested. Wow. Hinting at the Nation of Domination. Wow. A great opening segment and a funny segment by Triple H. Wow. Planting the seeds for Triple H against Roman Reigns. Wow. Great Raw. I'm going to give this Raw a thumbs up. If I'm going to rate Monday Night Raw this week, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, in fact, enjoy this video. Great War. Good Raw. Thanks for watching. Take care. Spike your hair.